New commitment for Notre Dame in the 2026 class, the Fighting Irish, getting a fifth DB pledge. We're going to talk about it in this video with Tim Hyde. Before we dive into it, please hit the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to the Blue and Gold YouTube channel for so much more content on the Fighting Irish. You can go to blueandgold.com for stories on Nick Reddish, including an interview I did with him before he announced his pledge about him picking the Irish. So yeah, Nick Reddish, 5'11", 180 pounds, from Charlotte Independence. Tim, the rankings. Okay. Not ranked very high. He's a 3-star across the board. Rivals, which this Rivals ranking's going away soon, but you can see that they had him just on the cusp of 4-star status. He's a number 587 overall player, number 50 safety in America, according to that On3 industry ranking. But Tim, there's very important context to discuss here, and we'll talk about the recruitment in a minute. But Reddish played one game as a junior. This film that we have here is sophomore film. So yeah, how are you going to rank this kid very highly just based on sophomore film when there's other players there with junior film? But Tim, his sophomore film, I think it's awesome. I'm really excited to see what he does as a senior in 2025.
No, I'm with you, Mike. He's like an old school strong safety. Me personally, I think he's going to be. I've used that term before. Down in the box, I see him being a nickel type of football player. I just do. Very comparable to Harper, who was here a couple of years ago. Harper was smaller than him. And then, Devontae Smith, who's coming over from Alabama, is, a 5'11", 195, 200. He fits right in that model. And when you watch him, the guy's going to thump you. He's an old school thumper. He likes to hit. He's really, really quick and agile. Great change of direction. You just watch his whole body mechanics, the way he runs. Outstanding athlete. Mike, you're getting a hell of a football player, if I may say, out of North Carolina, which is just becoming, basically a backyard, for Notre Dame, which is awesome. That whole area where they're getting guys and recruit for the future, and the success they've had with guys there, especially the last 10 years of football with guys out of Carolina. But he's a good football player. People, you know what? We're so hung up on the Kyle Hamiltons, the O'Briens, the Jadon Blair's, these condors at 6'5" playing safety. But then you look, Mike, I went back over the NFL draft. The majority of safeties in the NFL draft are 5'10" to 6 foot.
Yeah.
So, Xavier Watts, excuse me, there's one right there, all right?
Yeah.
Elijah Shoemate, who played a few years ago, he reminds me a lot of Jalen Elliott and Louis Gilman. Just those 5'11", 200-pound strong safety bodies. And, I'm excited for him. I really love his film. Like he said, his sophomore film. He's got a little bit of junior film out there, some scrimmages and some practice film before he got injured. But this is a hell of a get, a down in the box, nickel, strong safety type of football player to go with all the length and these giants playing on the back end.
Yeah. Adon Schuler right now, 6 foot 270, or 270, 207, excuse me. Yep. Tim, I think he is the perfect complement to this class because Kari Adams and Chaz Smith, they're both like these long, rangy corners, right? And then you have Pouncey and O'Brien, who could play anything. They could play safety. They could play corner. They could play nickel. Joey O'Brien, by the way, I thought Notre Dame was bringing him as a corner. I talked to him the other day. He's coming in as a safety / nickel. Safety being his first position, then nickel, which I think is interesting. And Reddish, I just talked to him as we record this. I talked to him yesterday about this. And I want to say he was like a safety nickel hybrid as well. But he's so different. Like O'Brien in those roles is going to be so much different than Reddish because they're just different players. Like Reddish, you're going to play closer to the line of scrimmage. Yeah, more of that true nickel that Notre Dame's had versus like Kyle Hamilton when he would play nickel. Does that make sense, Tim? Am I making sense here?
Oh, no, exactly. You need a true, big free safety, someone that could roam. Xavier Watts, for as many picks as he got, he's more dropping down. He's that true robber guy taking cross. You go back and look at Xavier Watts is 6 foot, 200, 205. So, ex wide receiver. But you watch so many of his interceptions, they're down in the box, robbing crosser routes. That's what I see Nick Reddish doing when they play the single man-free robber type of a scheme that they've done over the years. And on top of that, the nickel. You got a guy that could run with slots. It doesn't have to be a true corner. which, I know Bracy moved in there, but really Smith, Harper, those guys, DeMonte Smith, the Bama
Yeah.
transfer, and Harper before from Oklahoma State, those are true strong safeties, true nickels at their positions, outside backers, the star, as they call them in their schemes. And then obviously you had Clark last year, who's really a corner type of a body. So I see Reddish, the way his movement skills, great change of direction, great feet as well, just the way he could plant and accelerate real quick. I would put him at nickel, let him learn the ropes and run around and go from there. If not, he's going to be that strong safety, dropping, being that eighth man in the box for you.
I think something really interesting with Notre Dame defensive back recruiting right now, Tim, is that at most schools you have a corners coach and you have a safeties coach. And if I'm the corners coach and I recruit a kid to come here to my school, I want to coach and develop him. I don't want to lose him to the safeties coach, right? Because then he's in that room. I want him. I want with Mickens, he does both. So all these guys are cross-training. Like all 5 of these guys could play different things. Like Smith and Adams. When we watch Adams for his commitment video, we're like, this kid could play receiver. Like he definitely could play safety. Like all these guys are going to be able to learn the different positions, and you can work out at corner and safety. Mickens coaches everyone in the defensive backfield. So I think that is pretty cool, Tim.
Yeah, you know what? And that's, even going back to the 24 class, obviously Moore's been a true corner, but then Hobbs spent the majority of spring learning nickel, trying to see that backup to Smith coming in from Alabama, trying to cross, it's either going to be the number 3 corner, the number 2 nickel as they work with Hobbs. And obviously let's just call them athletes that are coming in 25 and 26. Half of them could play offense and half are true DBs. They're athletes.
Yeah.
You know what? You hear that term a little bit. Has it been this since Holtz? And when you go back and you look at the Lou Holtz years, those iconic, 87 to 90 classes, Mike, they're all running backs and DBs and option quarterbacks. They bring them in and find spots for them, and they all went to the NFL. And Notre Dame's kind of doing that with these last couple of classes of really athletes, free safeties, wide receivers, nickels, corners, hybrid type guys. Dallas Golden can play offense, defense. Yep. We see a lot of these guys. So, and I think, obviously going to Nick Reddish, same thing. He could play strong safety in the 2 high, and he could play down in the box as a nickel. So the flexibility, the athleticism, the 25 and 26 DB classes, you put them together, they're up there, the upper echelon of Notre Dame history when combining their skills.
Yeah, 25 class. Like you look at the bottom with like Cree Thomas or like a Brandon Logan in that 25 class, and then Ethan Long. Dude, 6 years ago, those are your 3 marquee guys. And then this class, Nick Reddish is your lowest ranked guy. Like tremendous pickups, and it's not like Notre Dame's beating out Eastern Kentucky for this kid either. Virginia Tech, Indiana, Wisconsin, North Carolina, Missouri, Louisville, USC, Tennessee, like some of the schools that offered Nick Reddish. And yeah, I think this is a completely different discussion about Nick Reddish and his recruiting outlook. Like in terms of his ranking, but also like, yeah, he would have probably got more offers if he had his junior season. But Notre Dame stuck with him. He was a pot of gold guy, another pot of gold commit for Notre Dame. And this one came down to Notre Dame and Virginia Tech. He has 2 brothers that play for the Hokies. After his official visit to Notre Dame, Tim, there's 2 guys actually that June 13 weekend. I was like, yeah, I'm not hearing like overwhelmingly positive things about where Notre Dame stands with them, like kind of the vibes after the official visit. The 2 were Nick Reddish, who's now committed to Notre Dame, right? Some sources thought he was going to Virginia Tech. He's going to Notre Dame. And Braden Robinson, who committed to Notre Dame, with rivals. And I was on his live commitment video afterwards, which was awesome. He committed to Notre Dame over Miami. I've been saying the Irish are getting everybody. Like it might be 27 of 28 official visitors in June that signed with the Irish, which is just bonkers. And the one they may not get is because they have 2 tight end commits already.
Yeah, 5-star out of Kansas at tight end, exactly.
Yeah, I guess it's possible the Irish could take 3 tight ends, but we'll see what Evan Jacobson what ends up happening there. But very exciting times if you're following Notre Dame football recruiting, and definitely exciting times if you're locking into this Blue and Gold YouTube channel. So hit the thumbs up on this video, subscribe to the channel for more content, go to blueandgold.com for more coverage of this news. Appreciate you all for watching, and as always, we'll catch you next time.